I'm doing multi-live right now. Uh, this is because I've come to a rationalization and realization of something. I rationalized the fact that some of what we are taught and some of what we learn come from where we came from and not from exactly where we are now. And that created a couple of things cascading in my brain. And I wanted to take a second to talk about those. And to be quite honest, I'm not really caring who watches this or not because I'll review these for myself later. And this happens to be something that the government of the United States does. And it's something that is quite interestingly different than a lot of other countries. Um, we don't have a national religion. So we don't aspire that our country is ran a very particular way or its people. But one thing we do have is something called the swearing an oath. So to swear an oath, it kind of goes something like this. I swear by God, Almighty God, that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The affirmation is I solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you swear to this when you're going to give testimony. You swear to this when you're going to become a public servant. You swear to this for a few different reasons. And in America, it's supposed to be something that is very profound, like very. I mean, it's an American thing to swear under oath, and I decided that when I came to the realization that some of the American text that we have doesn't necessarily come from America, but from originating countries, but we utilize these words in America and have altered, added, and subtracted from their original meanings. And a lot of this is based off of convenience. So it's more convenient to do it this way than that way. And so things change over time. And the reason why I'm bringing this up and the reason why I believe that it should be a public service intended to serve all members of the community or through public education provided by the United States is that if we're not going to necessarily allow religion to run our country, but we are going to swear an oath on the Holy Bible, that maybe educating the citizens as to what the words are within the Bible. Because there are a lot of times I hear comments like, well, I don't know how to read it. So I get very lost. And, I can aspire to that. There are times that I don't feel that I know how to read it. And there are many times that I feel lost too. So I decided to pick up this thing called an encyclopedic dictionary. And and an encyclopedic dictionary, let's see if I can spell this right for those who are watching the live uh, wow, the live YouTube versions where you can see what's on the screen on my computer. So if you want to see what's going on the computer on the live broadcast, jump over to our YouTube channel, Dog Park Armies Bark Park, and you'll find us live there, which is like something really cool. So, an encyclopedic dictionary's meaning is a book or set of books giving information on many subjects or on many aspects of one subject and typically arranged alphabetically. So, an encyclopedic definition, is just exactly that. So, it will bring things in from like where modern Latin to ancient Latin to Pseudo Greek to all things of language purposes behind definition. Now, the one that I'm using it's a hardback, so it's not one that's online. But let's see if I could find it. Okay, it's called the Standard Encyclopedic Dictionary, and I got a lot of and-ums going in here, and there it is right here. So it is by Funk and Wagnalls. You can buy the hardcover for $14. January 1st, 1966 was the origination of this one that's here online. My copyrighted version goes up to, I believe, 76, so 10-year copyright. So they decided that the book, and here I'll show you for those who are watching my face live online. Here is the same book, the Standard Encyclopedic Dictionary by Funk and Wagnalls. There it is. It's about yay thick. Okay. It's an old book. It's got a lot of viable reference material in it. And you might ask me, well, what is the point of this? Why does this matter? Like, I'm an American. I understand American words. Well, I'm 39 years old myself. Okay. And this is where this comes in. So here's the Encyclopedic Dictionary. I forgot to switch back over to this one. So here's that Encyclopedic Dictionary. So when swearing under oath, again, here it is. The oath is, I swear by Almighty God that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The affirmation is, I solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Now, many people decide that they're going to skirt what that means. So, the whole truth. All right. Well, let's see if we can find out what that means. Okay. So there is. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going online. So again, this is not going to be nearly what it was like when the books that I'm referring to. Here's a Holy Bible. This is NIV. Okay. And this is where this book upsets me. This is NIV Study Bible. Okay. A lot of the definitions that you are going to find now are going to be what is worldly accepted. So what is worldly accepted is basically the American English language, not the British English language, but the American English language. And so therefore, certain definitions that started off first have been lost, and even by some of where the word came from. So King James is KJV, King James Version, and is responsible for a lot of the English translation, which has been accepted worldwide since. And the Americans picked up the King James Version and accepted many of the words that were in it as is, without major variants. And I kind of wonder sometimes if these people had picked up a dictionary, or if the people who translated the word understood the original word use and its intent and just went with it and assumed that their readers would be just as smart in knowing all of the definition of this word, and or would pick up a dictionary themselves, preferably an encyclopedic one, considering we're referring to ancient translations. So most people's familiarity with the word let is to allow something to happen or not prevent it, right? So we, as humans, and I'm going to put it that way, because I could be very specific and say Romans and Jews and Israelites, and I could, go down the gambit of those, which could do, a lot of credit for the allowance of Jesus Christ's death. So that means not to prevent it, right? You allowed Jesus Christ to be crucified. You allowed this to happen, and in many aspects now, and I'm going to say Christians allowed this to happen because they were supposed to be the dedicated followers of Christ. The Jews were responsible for having it enacted through the Roman hands. Okay, so there is that way of saying something. Okay, well, then there is the British word, which is, well, quite a bit older than the American word of it. And it means a period during which a room or property is rented. So allow someone to have use of a room or property in return for regular payments. Now, in the encyclopedic dictionary of what I'm referring to, it also says that this cost may come at a great cost. So to allow to rent something out at cost, if not a great cost. So if you take in the very beginning of the Bible, of which people put their hand on and swear this oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I feel personally then that a lot of people have been hoodwinked. Okay. Now you're going to ask me, well, what do you mean? Well, okay. So if I am going to tell you a story and I'm going to say that this is how it is, and these are the words that are used, and then I'm going to put my hand on it and tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. Now, this goes for clergy as well. So, if you have been told, and maybe they have been hoodwinked as well, that this word means to just simply allow something to happen, then you have not been told the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You have been told a half truth and a whole lie. So I'm almost wondering if there needs to be a public service dedicated to understanding the British English translation of the Holy Bible, to which the rest of the world has reprinted in what is considered the World American English and been passed around millions of copies at a time. And all of these people are under the assumption that this is just simply willy-nilly, without restraint, just do. Now you're asking me, well, where does this word let happen in the Bible? Well, there is a notation in Genesis, in the very beginning of it, and it says, and I will bring it up on the computer too, but I want to bring my page to it. Now, this is Genesis chapter 1. I believe it's called paragraph 3. And God said, let there be light. Okay, so in the very beginning of the book, he's trying to tell you that underneath the British original translation by the translators, accepted and reaccepted and reaccepted in the time of King James, God is trying to tell you, if I am understanding the original British translation, let there be light at a great cost. I'm going to rent this to you. no denotation at this point in time what this rented light is, but that he saw that the light was good and separated this rented light from the darkness. Now, there are these connotations also of was. So we're in the very beginning of Genesis. A lot of places want to get rid of Genesis because they feel that Genesis is too conflictory. Well, that might be because there is this common sense among people that just letting things happen isn't seemingly natural. That there's usually a give and take for something, and that give and take generally means both parties are actually coming to a benefit from an allowance of something happening. So if there is a cost at the light that was said to be, and that this light that was said to be was seen to be good, what cost might that be? Right? So there is a whole entire thought project that could be unfolding in one's mind about this. Because at first, it's just let things happen, right? We're just going to allow or not stop or impede something from happening. Well, it doesn't seem as that was the context of how God was going about this. I'm just going to let light happen. I'm not going to stop it. Well, if I'm going to sequester it, that might seem like it actually falls in the fashion of the rental aspect portrayed by the British definition. So, this is something to consider when you're honestly asking, have you been told the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? So, whether or not my understanding of the definition and the context of which it may have been used may not be accurate, it took me 39 years of living before I became aware that that was actually the first and foremost definition of the word let. So, taking that into consideration and understanding that most biblical text and translation that has made it through the time of the King James era and still remains in its original existence may actually have a much different meaning than those who have been taught traditional American English definition and terminology than that of our brother sister country of the British English language. So in America, we may have been hoodwinked. And if you really think about it, the powers that be in our country ought to be aware of this British connotation. And if so, when they let things happen, are they actually considering a rented cost attached to that allowance? I'm going to let you do this. I'm going to allow it to happen, but it's going to cost you, and I may not be wholeheartedly honest and truthful with you about what that is. Now, this can go from clergy, this to presidents, to judges, to police officers, and on and on. So, if somebody is going to tell you they're going to let you do something, maybe the return comment could be, is this a free allowance of happening? Or is it going to cost me? Now, generally, when they let you do something, you kind of do something in return just because. So I'm going to let you hang out here but you're going to watch my dog for the weekend, or I'm going to let you and you're going to, but generally, even in that fashion of allowance, there's still that rented cost. It's being allowed to happen while both parties are meeting the terms. So, when God said, and let there be light, and there was light, that might not just be in a simple boom for free thing happening. It's something to contemplate when you put your hand on the Bible or somebody else puts their hand on the Bible, is going to swear to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, because help them God, they may be just as ignorant as I have been when it comes to understanding what that word means. And again, that word is in Genesis 1 in paragraph 3. So it would be Genesis 1 ... 3, and it's right there, folks. So you can't even get in to the beginning of the Bible without there being a question of the authority of teaching that has been given to you among those words. Now, again, as I said, I am no professor or professional on these matters, but I decided one day to try and understand maybe a more encompassing definition of certain words, just on the off chance I wasn't really understanding them. And my mind was blown away when I decided to find out that certain words have an entirely different meaning to them, or have a very important notation to what causes that word to actually be complete. And so therefore it opened my mind up to a multitude of other thoughts. And today, that being people telling you that they're telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So either they're lying to you because they already know and are withholding this information from you, or they're just as ignorant as I have been for 39 years and just are unaware and uneducated because their educators didn't fully educate them, nor did they take the time to educate themselves. All right? By the way, that also seems very pagan. Have a good day.